Imagine exploding at your boss in a meeting, losing the promotion you were waiting for, and watching your rival get it because he stayed ice cold. Blasted betrayal! But that's not your weakness. That's the samurai edge you're still missing. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple samurai emotional mastery system. Label your rage like a warrior spotting an enemy. Create space between trigger and explosion, and turn chaos into focus using breath and wu-wei flow. These are tricks samurai knew long ago, and neuroscience on affect labeling now backs them up, so you become the calm thermostat in any storm. Family fights, high-stakes deals, inner turmoil, all of it becomes training. Stick around, because in minutes you'll see how Alex, a hothead like you, went from rage machine to an unbreakable leader. The trigger trap. You're fuming in traffic, heart pounding, ready to honk and curse. Sound familiar? Samurai saw emotions not as "I am angry," but as anger arises. This kind of affect labeling is proven to dial down amygdala fire and hand control back to your prefrontal captain. So this time, after a client betrayal, Alex slammed his desk, then caught himself. He whispered, "I notice fury rising in my chest," pausing to label its grip instead of becoming it, and watched it fade like battlefield mist. Unlike his old explosive outbursts, Alex now stepped back as an observer, not as a victim. Science confirms it. Naming detaches you. Breath as your blade rage surges in an argument, and your autopilot is already scripting the perfect counterattack. But samurai pause and switch to a different weapon. 4-4-6-2 breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6, hold for 2. Stretching the exhale flips the vagus nerve, calm switch, and pulls the body out of fight or flight. Alex, in the middle of a family blow-up, feels his chest tighten, jaw lock, voice rising, and this time he drops his shoulders, plants his feet into the ground, and breathes slowly from his tendon core instead of firing back. Within 3 breaths, his heart rate comes down, his vision widens, and the urge to shout dissolves. The same anger that used to hijack him now becomes clean, deliberate energy behind a measured sentence. This isn't woo-woo at all. It's stress physiology and heart rate variability in action, using longer exhalations to hit the parasympathetic brake, so you can think clearly while everyone else is drowning in adrenaline. In the next segment, you'll see how wu-wei turns other people's attacks into your advantage. Wu-wei, effortless redirect. Your teen slams doors. Your partner ghosts you. Your impulse yells, "Fight!" Wu-wei from Taoism quietly teaches you, move like water. And stop gripping so hard. Samurai treated emotional attacks like shifting weather fronts. They roll in, they roll out, and you don't have to run after every storm. In a meeting, when his team blamed him for a failure, Alex felt that sting of anger and shame. Instead of grabbing it, he told himself, "This is blame, not my entire worth," and let their words move past him instead of through his identity. Because he no longer clung to the story, "They don't respect me," his prefrontal captain stayed online. The part of your brain that regulates emotion under stress and keeps decisions clear. From that higher ground, he asked one calm, precise question, spotted the real issue, and the tension in the room dropped. Other people don't really push your buttons. They expose where you're still clinging. Wu-wei is the art of loosening that grip so you can heal and lead at the same time. Emotional Judo. Pattern sight. Meetings erupt, accusations fly, and you're blamed for something that wasn't your fault. If you snap back, you might win the moment and lose the whole negotiation. Samurai treated these moments like combat for the nervous system. They became neurostrategists, using silence, steady posture, and sharp observation to spot emotional gaps in their opponent instead of rushing to defend themselves. In Zen, they called it mushin, no mind. You still feel anger and fear, but they don't grab the steering wheel, so your attention stays wide and precise. When Alex's boss attacked him in front of the team, he felt the heat rising. Instead of arguing, he subtly mirrored his boss's posture, kept his voice slow, and let the silence stretch. The boss's energy dropped. The room calmed. Suddenly there was space for concessions and solutions. That's emotional judo. Real power is being the inner thermostat that sets the temperature for everyone else. Impulsive people get played and discarded first in every arena, from boardroom to battlefield. Next, you'll see the exact inner shift that turns everyday triggers into your personal training ground, and the moments that made Alex unstoppable. The choice space. Author, your fate. Between the trigger and your reaction, there is a small gap. And that gap is your samurai dojo. Buddhism calls it non-reaction. You feel everything, but you don't let the first impulse decide your fate. Modern psychology backs this up. When you pause in that space, even for a second, you move from automatic reaction to conscious response. And that's where growth and freedom live. Alex used to fire back instantly. Texts, emails, raised voice, regret. Now, when a harsh message lands or someone disrespects him in public, his inner sequence is different. First breath, then question. He quietly asks himself, what do I really want here? To score a point, or to protect what matters and the people around me? He only opens his mouth after that. That single inner question pulls him out of fight or flight and drops him into deliberate strategy. From there, what he says lines up with his principles, not just with the rush of adrenaline. This is the real forge of calm. It isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's built in a few weeks of consistent practice, labeling emotions, to detach, breathing, to reset your nervous system, choosing even one heartbeat of space before you reply. Wu Wei flow and anticipation become your daily drills, like katas for your nervous system, until staying composed under fire feels more natural than exploding. You can't control your boss, your partner, the markets, or the algorithm. The only thing you truly control is your response. And the moment you master that, you rise from rage to whispers of unshakable. Science and samurai agree. A few weeks of practice can make you the dangerous calm one in any room.